Cynthia and I had a discussion the other day, as we normally do. We have some wonderful discussions about life, and we sometimes record some of them. There's quite a few we've recorded we haven't posted, but there was one we had the other morning which was to do with our authenticity and to do with our connection to our soul, and more of an explanation of the structure of things. It was quite a revelatory moment for Cynthia, and I feel that that moment was actually captured quite well, even though there's a little bit of background noise. It was over breakfast that we had this discussion, so I've edited as much of that as I could out, so please take that into consideration when listening. But really take notice of the content and the descriptive nature and the way it's being shared, because it's very natural. It is totally natural, totally authentic, and I know people will relate. Cynthia knows people will relate. We both feel it's very important that we share this with the wider community. This quite personal, intimate discussion that Cynthia and I had together, I feel is going to be very beneficial for many.
In that moment, I saw myself as a ball of light on the outer reaches of the universe, like pretty much at the edge of the universe. But there was another ball of light with me. There was two of us together. And what I got, the knowing that I got in that instant, was that that was the God of this universe, the God who created this universe. And we were just completely at one with each other.
Wow, that is just so beautiful.
But what I got in that instant was that I was absolutely, completely and totally, absolutely no doubt, equal with the God of this universe. I am equal with the God of this universe.
Yes.
But that wasn't the part that was really profound for me. The part that was really profound for me...
That wasn't profound enough. Yeah,
well, again, I knew that bit as well. But the other part that I knew was that in that moment, that the part of me that is at one and equal to with the God of this universe is my soul, because the part of me that is the part of this incarnation, the part of me that is at one with God, is my soul. And in that instant, I recognised that my soul is my Godhead. My Godhead is my soul.
Wow.
They're one and the same thing.
That's amazing. That is truly an amazing revelation.
So that's what I came to understand in that moment.
So you're on the outer reaches of the universe, basically the extremities of the universe.
Yeah.
If you're going to give it a proximity description.
Yeah. And there was almost like a distinct border between the edge of the universe and what was out there beyond our universe. Do
you recall seeing beyond our universe?
Yeah, I was looking out there thinking, that looks like our night sky.
A void.
Yeah, it was a void, but the stars were closer. What I perceived in that moment to be stars. Perhaps they were universes, perhaps they were other planets in another universe. I don't know. I can't really explain that because...
So the part of that knowing hasn't come to you yet?
No.
But the description is similar to my experience. When I was at the edges of this universe and I was looking out beyond this universe and I was having a communion with God, the creator of this universe, what I saw out there was like similar to what you just described, but all those dots out there were other universes.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. They were bigger and brighter than the stars that we see in our night sky. And I mean, we get a pretty good view of the night sky here because we've got no lights of any towns or cities around us, so our Milky Way, our view of the Milky Way and the night sky is just some of the best views that you'll see anywhere in the world, that they don't get night lights from, other towns.
You need to explore that moment, because in a single moment, on that level of consciousness, you have access to everything. So that moment.
Oh no, I felt like there was still a lot more, because I wasn't really focusing on that side of it. The aha moment for me in that experience was, our soul is our Godhead and our Godhead is our soul, and it's completely untouchable by anything or anyone.
That's right.
And I realised in that instant as well that we've never ever been separated.
And I guess what I'm saying is, as profound, truly profound that revelation is, in that moment of being out there, or being within your being, basically, because we're saying out there, that's habitually we do that. But in that moment of you being in that place, being in that state of being, there is so much more understanding of that situation that you can actually have access to, and that will come through over time. Because what you did was you revisited a part of you that's there. So it's like that.
Oh yeah, it was totally mine.
That part of you is still there now.
Yes, it is.
In that place, on that level.
But I have a better understanding of it.
It's like you didn't go from here to there.
No.
You just reintegrated with that aspect of you that is there.
Yeah.
Because
it didn't feel foreign. It didn't feel unreal. It didn't feel like it was contrived. It didn't feel like I'd tried to engineer it. There was nothing. I mean, when I have these experiences, especially since I, dissolved my chakras, these experiences that I have are just phenomenal. But, what I wanted to tell you about was my Godhead. Our Godhead. Everybody's Godhead. Because that was the aha moment for me. That was like the lump of 4x2 over the head, being whacked in the head with it. But the only way I reached that, this particular experience, was being so deep into that emotion of almost out of control, right on the verge. See, in that experience that I saw, in that vision, that vision that I had, I was right on the edge of the universe. In the emotion that took me to that, I was right on the edge of my emotion, from slipping out of control.
But part of that was your ego melting down in order for you to bring that level of your beingness into the here.
Yeah, I was completely out of my ego in that instant. The
breakdown you were experiencing was your ego breaking down.
It was gone. It was just like...
It was like having a nervous breakdown.
Yes, it was. And I was completely, totally open and vulnerable.
But you need to be open. And vulnerable, because that's where the power is in that vulnerability. That, it's a dichotomy. It's actually a paradox, because our egos see it as vulnerability, but it's actually empowerment. The perspective from our ego is vulnerability. But you can't bring more of those greater aspects of yourself into this reality without opening up. You can't. You have to be open for that energy to flow into this aspect of us and be present here. And the prison wall is the sense of vulnerability. And when you just break free from that, allow that vulnerability, allow the ego to experience its vulnerability, in that moment is when empowerment occurs. And the vulnerability was just an illusion. It was just an insecurity and a fear on the part of the ego.
Well, the insecurity and the fear for me in that moment was losing control of my emotions and allowing myself to spiral into a drama vortex that wouldn't have served me or you or having to clean
They
up,
are
or
all-
having to clean up the mess afterwards.
They are all fear reactions of the ego. And that could have been energy from inside of you dealing with energies that had entrenched themselves in your mind framework. It may have been breaking those barriers down.
Well, it felt like something was broken. Because...
Because you were having what felt like a breakdown.
yeah, it was.
So that was the ego that was breaking down, and all the mental framework and programming
In that instant.
in that instant. That's what I've gone through in the past when I've had my major revelatory moments. You have like what seems like a breakdown, and that's because the ego is in that moment, and all the associated controlling programs that work on us through the mind, mental framework, and through the ego, they also are losing power and grip and control. And so not only are we having a breakdown, is our ego having a breakdown personally, our own personal ego, energies that we're personally responsible for, but we've also got all these other energies that are associated with us that we have contracted to hold us back, and all these programs of limitation and all the entities involved with these programs of limitation and control. They're losing their grip in that moment, and so they're all being very fearful in that moment and freaking out and throwing tantrums as well. And so the whole thing, the whole egoic mind control construct and framework, the whole thing in that moment is being broken down by the soul becoming more present in this reality. And that's the experience we go through of having that. It's like we go through a nervous breakdown, a meltdown. It's not a pleasant thing, but that's the experience that we have. And some of us go through it intensely over a short period of time. Some go through it over long periods of time. And sometimes we go through it in waves where we experience both. And
I think I've experienced both.
yeah, I
Definitely.
think everybody experiences both, but to varying degrees and different timing.
What I'm finding now, though, along those lines, is that, and I think you're the same, is that periods of long breaking down, you know, feeling like you're in a black hole or you've got the black clouds hanging over you, those periods are not as long as they used to be. They seem to be more intense now. They seem to be shorter and more intense when we experience them. So what we might have experienced over, say, a year or 5 years, now we can experience that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's
Or
the
even
quickening,
shorter.
isn't it?
Or even shorter, like that last black hole that I just had, with the black clouds as well, had both at the same time, was 3 days. Intense 3 days.
Yeah,
But look at the
it
gift.
was.
Look at the gift.
It was very
I'm
intense.
sorry, darling. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, my love. You support me through these things, I support you through these things. That's what it's all about.
I know.
Darling, that's just,
Can I have a tissue?
that's amazing.
Ta. It helped me to be in a calm place for the rest of the day. I felt like I'd resolved something in that moment, seeing those visuals and having that experience. I felt like I'd resolved something. Well, obviously I did, because I felt much more calm and centred and peaceful for the rest of the
Well,
day.
you had one
I
of
couldn't function, but I was in a much better place emotionally.
You had one of the most profound experiences anyone could ever hope to have in life.
Really?
Really? I still don't think or feel that you have come to terms with the magnitude of what you've experienced. And the reason I can identify with that is because it was like after I had my experience in 2003, similar to the one you had, that I was there with.
Oh, I think yours was a lot more.
Why? Why was it more?
Because you,
How can experiencing and being one with God on the edge of the universe and being able to see outside the universe, how can my experience be more than yours?
It was because your galactic family was involved to get you there. I never had any of that.
That's right.
I just went there.
That's right. So that's another thing. That's the point we're trying to make here is that well, there's a number of things going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial point was that when I came back from that experience, I was like a stunned mullet for a while. I was in shock. What do I do with this? And it took me a while to actually reconcile with the experience. So right now you don't actually understand the magnitude of the experience.
Perhaps I don't.
Well, the way you were talking and your demeanour shows to me clearly that you don't. Because it's one of the biggest experiences any person can ever have in life. Going consciously experiencing your soul.
Mm.
Consciously experiencing your soul.
Yeah, which is what I did.
Which is what you did. How many people do you think have achieved that in life? I mean, that is so profound. You're not realising it yet.
But I have...
And hang on, just hear me out. You're not realising the magnitude and the... What's the word I'm looking for? And the potentiality of what's to come from this. You don't realise it.
No,
it is so
obviously I don't.
monumental, that experience. It changed me forever. And it's a turning point in one's life. And what you experienced is what many are going to experience. It's what some may be experiencing. We know that we've had a couple of our friends tell us that they had that experience, didn't they?
Yeah.
And so it's happening spontaneously for people. This is the resurrection for people. What you experienced was resurrection. You know?
Well, that's pretty out there.
That's not out there. That's fact. That's absolute fact. What you experienced was resurrection. See? Now, when we start attaching labels of what your experience is and bringing the reality of it into play, your whole demeanour's changed already. Because you are now have a conscious, aware connection with your soul. And you know the structure of your being. You know your relationship with the Creator consciously.
I do.
Whereas people are searching for that on this planet. So hard.
And I had it here in the kitchen.
You know what I'm saying?
How crazy is that?
Yeah, on one level it's totally freaking crazy. But on another level it shows how it just happens when it needs to. Divine timing.
There's nothing like it, is there?
That you don't have to force it. Just need to allow it to happen. And it happens when you don't realise it in the most unusual moments.
It was just, for me, it was a normal thing. And I say that because there's so much that goes on in my internal world that I don't share. But that really helped me with such a big understanding. Probably one of the biggest understandings that anyone could ever have in their life. And so when I have experiences and visions and things in my dream state or in my waking state, perhaps I do underestimate how big they are, because it's actually a regular kind of thing for me.
What a moment.
I am gaining the understanding of the depth of it. Because it's as I am in my really calm space and I feel and I feel back into it. I go back to that moment. More of it is coming through.
Yeah. That's your point of reference now, to sit and contemplate and draw on. Draw your wisdom from your soul, from your authentic self.
Well, it is my point of reference. It's the only point of reference.
And you
because that is...
It's our ultimate point of reference in this universe.
Yeah, I think that's what I was looking for.
Mm. Wow. How amazing. How amazing. The other aspect to this is is for you to come to terms with why you had that experience and why now. I think that's the key to experiences, is extracting the wisdom of why did I have it and why did I have it in this point in time in my life, not before or after. Why was it needed now? And how can I use this experience for not only my good but for the greater good? Because there's an element to these experiences which serve humanity. So how's it going to serve you to serve humanity? So that's what you need to work out within yourself.
Well, I know instantly it's going to enable me to be more of me and to feel more secure within myself, within my physical vessel, within my interaction with not only myself and you, but everybody that I interact with. But the experience is obviously bigger than what I gave it credit for.
Yeah.
And so I'll need to spend some time in contemplation and just feel back into that.
It's massive.
Hence we are creators in the making.
Okay, I didn't quite word it like that, but
that's why you came up with a revelation of our soul is our Godhead. Because the infrastructure for us to become creators is there. So like the structure of the universe has the Godhead and its creation, as we're going through and learning this universe, we too have the creational aspect, and we too have the Godhead aspect. So the creator of this universe has facilitated for us to have the same infrastructure.
exactly. And so this part of us that's living the incarnation now, the part of me that's living Cynthia and the part of you that's living George, to me is, as you describe, the travelling spirit, which is an aspect of our soul. Our soul has sent this particular aspect.
A projection of our soul.
Yeah, it's an aspect of our soul which has been projected into this incarnation that we sit here before each other now. And that part of us is the part that is being directed by our soul, our Godhead. And that's the part of us that's travelled so far down the timeline or down the journey that it's forgotten. This part of us has forgotten our connection to our Godhead. It's not that we're separate from it, because we're not.
No, it's a consciously aware thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a consciously aware thing. So it brings into question religion and all these other ideals and philosophies that are out there in the New Age religion and the occults, because they're all about this travelling spirit part of us, which they see as our soul.
That's right.
They see this part of us as our soul. That soul can be captured. So that's what the ET races and the interdimensional races from the lower I'll say from the bowels of the universe, who see themselves as above us, who like to propagate the notion that they are above us, think that they can manipulate our soul, and that by capturing us, by capturing our travelling spirit and our conscious awareness of our spirituality, they can divert that, they can muddy that, they can twist it and manipulate it, and think that if we give that part of ourselves over to them, that gives them access to our soul, because they don't want to have to take the journey through humanity. They don't want to do that. They want to bypass that. They want to cheat.
Becoming human is the pathway home.
Yeah, and they don't want to do that, because they know how. There's an aspect of them also that knows how hard this journey is.
And they're terrified of it.
They are.
Because they'd have to give up everything that they've got. Everything that they are currently in their ego, their cosmic ego.
My heart's just absolutely... My heart is just so embracing this wisdom, because there's another level of our humanity and our journey here that I've just gotten in the heart.
Wow.
I knew it intellectually, and I thought I knew it with my heart, but I've just really
You really got it.
it's just really gone home.
It's gone from the intellectual into the real true knowing.
I knew it intellectually, I entertained it as a really good idea, and it felt right, but now it's that cog is locked in.
Wow.
My heart's absolutely singing right now. It actually feels like it's open, and there's all this light coming out. That's how it feels. That's what I'm actually seeing.
Welcome home.
Welcome home to my Godhead. We've never been separated.
No.
We've never been lost.
It's just been the perception that we have. Or you can call it the illusion that we have.
We've always been connected. So now for me to ponder on the next part of that understanding is to try and consciously, from my heart, from my eternal essence and here, is to really tap into that connection that I have with my Godhead, my own Godhead, which is at one with the organic God of this universe.
That's exactly the goal of everybody.
Yes, it is.
It's what we all need to achieve.
So it's actually more than bringing all those other aspects of ourselves here. You know, the other incarnations that
you do it, bringing out all our aspects here are a result of the understanding that you've just had.
Okay.
Once the connection to our own Godhead or our soul, and that connection to the universal Creator, once that connection occurs, then the realization of drawing upon the wisdom of everything that we've seen and everything that we've done and everything that we've been comes into play. It's automatic, because we're reconnecting with all of our beingness in this universe. We're bringing it all together.
So does that...
We're the anchor point. We're like this part of us is the part of us that's bringing all those other aspects together. We are the pinnacle of all those experiences in one expression.
Is it important then for us to remember our incarnations as galaxies and stars and planets and
Of course it is.
ETs and...
How can you understand and identify and acknowledge and recognise this galaxy,
if you don't recognise that expression of life within yourself. So how can I recognise my heart, soul essence in another unless I first recognise one within myself? And you won't understand a star until you understand yourself as a star. You won't understand a galaxy until you understand yourself as a galaxy. To understand what it means to be a galaxy, what it means to be a star, what it means to be a planet. This is all forgotten knowledge. To understand what it means to be Pleiadian, what it means to be Draconian, what it means to be reptilian, what it means to be angelic, what it means to be whatever. Dolphin being, whale being, bird being, lion being. We've been all of them.
I remember a few of them.
And all we need to do is draw on the wisdom of being everything that we've been and just bring it all together.
Well, that part of the journey for most people who even get any of it, who hear any of it, that's just so far out there. It's like, how do you...
What was for you? Look at you now.
How do you remember? You know, because you've said a while ago, just go straight to the top.
That's right, and the rest will fall into place.
Well, that's what the Christians think they're doing, and that's what the New Agers think that they're doing, and that's what the occultists think that they're doing.
They're going to the top and they're continuing to dismiss everything else. Their focus is only the top.
And that's outside of themselves. They all aspire outside of themselves.
That's right, that's right. But this top is inside of ourselves. We go to the top within. This is reaching the highest echelons within our being, which then enables us to embrace everything between here and there, which is everything that we've been. Don't think of it as a hierarchical thing. Think of it as a time thing.
Piece of string.
Yeah. Journey along a string line. That's probably too linear though. But one end of the piece of string and the other end of the piece of string are now being brought back together to close the loop.
So all those incarnations, okay, so what I'm seeing is that they're all timelines of our soul projection.
Yeah. That's why I call it a journey. It's our universal journey.
Yeah, I understand that part, I get that part, but I'm just taking it from my thinking, from my logical thinking consciousness to I'm drawing pictures. I think that I need to see things in pictures.
Well, that's what I do. And then I go through the process of trying to verbalise it, which is really challenging. Because you diminish it so much, describe it, because the magnitude of what we're talking about is so vast.
It's the biggest.
Yeah.
My heart's absolutely singing right now. I don't know why this was the moment. I don't know what triggered this moment. From this connection.
From this connection, you'll know yourself so much better. And then you'll know what to do, where to go and how to go about it. That's where we get our inspiration from as well. Our main source of inspiration for doing and being comes from your heart, comes from your own Godhead, from your soul.
That's the hardest thing of all, is to pull back from all the external influences that want to entrap our awareness. It's to pull back from all those. That's really hard to do, because there is so much that wants to divert us. Just on a day-to-day basis, the housework that needs to be done just to get through the day. The people that you need to speak to today, whether it's to do with business or something personal or something to do with your children or your parents or sports or, your recreation time, there's always someone or something that is so eager to divert our awareness. So there's another obstacle course, is to find our way through that and hold that conscious connection from our heart space. When I say conscious connection, I don't mean thinking in the head. I mean that connection that we've always had to our very own personal, intimate Godhead. How do we keep that connection consciously through all those diversions and all those...
Well, that's what people have been trying to master for eons.
But they all do it by escaping. They do it by...
Some people do it by, discipline, meditations and what have you, quietening the mind. But that's a dangerous trap, because then you're continually using rigid structures rather than flow.
That's right, and I don't want to do any of that. I just want to be able to maintain my self-empowerment and my flow.
So that's the challenge.
That is the challenge.
In this reality. Recently I said we're at war, and the war is psychological warfare, because the fight is for our minds, because our mind is kind of a bit like the steering wheel in this reality. It's what people use to function. It's the functional interface with this reality. That's why the ego resides in the mind. It's the ego is the personality interface for this reality. So we communicate to one another down here. It's the way we interact with this reality, via that personality interface with the ego.
No wonder it's always felt so foreign to me. Ever since I was a child, my very first memories, it was all about communicating, heart communication. And I don't mean telepathy. I've always tried to communicate from my heart, and so many people never got it.
No, they won't. They're not in that space.
No, and they'd think that I was a bit, not strange, but different.
I had the same thing going on. I can relate.
Because I've tried meditating over the years, and that always felt like I wasn't in my heart space, I was in my head space, and it felt like a ritual. And I'm not into rituals. And I also, and even the religious thing, praying to something outside of me that didn't seem tangible or real, that was in my head as well. The concept of you've got to pray to Jesus Christ, you've got to pray to the Mother Mary or Archangel Michael, or all this kind of crap. It was just all crap. And it always felt like it was a head thing. It was a head thing, it was a head understanding. None of it ever felt right, now I know. I always knew then, but it's just consciously now I know. Just none of it's right, because it's all
externalisation.
It's all externalisation, and it's all diversion, and it's all about staying in the head.
And it's all about subservience, which ultimately leads to obedience, which leads to custodianship,
and that's why
control.
And that's why I've always had an issue with anything like that, because unknowingly my heart was always telling me this isn't right, this is wrong, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. I could never put it into words or really explain it. So it's all about our Godhead, and knowing that we've never ever been disconnected or lost.
We haven't. So it's about realisation more than achieving connection.
Perfect. That was perfect. Because the connection's always there. It's never, like I just said, it's never been lost. It's never been, the cord has never been cut. It's never been, It's never been damaged. It's never been not there. It's the strongest thing that we have. It's the strongest thing that we have in this universal journey.
It's who we are. It's the only thing that is the most authentic and genuine and real thing in this universe, is that connection to that aspect of us, because that's the connection, that's what connects us with everyone and everything around us. And that's why I talk about our authentic self.
Right now people are in a space of no time. People are in a state of having their lives broken down, their emotional well-being broken down, their spirituality's being broken down.
Yep.
And it's being rebuilt with completely new tools and new energy. And it's rediscovering, I think, that what it's really all about is getting back in touch with our true authenticity. I think that's what this time is about.
Yeah.
These few months now, and I think maybe
There's a lot of people that are flying high at the moment, but they're going to crash and burn in the near future because they're not going through this process. They're living in denial of it, so they're engaging in energies that's giving them the bliss and the buzz.
this is what people need to hear. They need to really hear it.
It's up to them if they hear it.
They might listen to you but not actually hear it. So talking about our authenticity, living in the flow from our Godhead, is really important.
To summarise the discussion that took place, this incredible piece of wisdom that came from Cynthia is that my soul is my Godhead. The amazing wisdom and power that comes from that statement is absolutely incredible. It's monumental. It's paramount. It is all these wonderful descriptive terms which blows everything else out of the matrix, basically. It is the trumping of the matrix. It is home for us when we come to that realization, that understanding and that knowing. It is what I've been sharing all along, but to hear it worded in this manner, my soul is my Godhead, and the understanding that comes along with that descriptive term, I think this is an absolute glorious moment for all of us. So I suggest for you to remind yourself of that as often as you can, to say it to yourself and realise what arises within you when you do. My soul is my Godhead. An incredible piece of wisdom from an incredibly wise woman. Be your total, authentic, genuine, natural, organic self and shine your beautiful light in this world. Thank you.